Hey there, it's Paul Mark from Transcend Coffee, and you're in my kitchen, and welcome. And I wanted to introduce a new series that we're going to be doing on a subject I think that you're going to find of some interest, and that's becoming a coffee connoisseur. You might think I'm dressed a little weird, and I am, but it's to make a point, and that's this top hat is representative of, I think, the perception that we typically associate with the word connoisseur. We usually assume that connoisseur is equivalent to the concept that I would deem more snobbery, where we talk about things that we like or we don't like, and we have some air of pretense about it, and we have this sort of sense of superiority that we are somehow in the know, and our opinion matters, and if you don't agree with me, you're somehow in the wrong. And that's something I think I want to dispel. I want to reintroduce, I think, the word connoisseur and help you not only understand that word better, but more importantly, I want you to embrace that word, and I want you, if at all possible, to join me on a journey towards becoming a coffee connoisseur. So let's lose the top hat. Hair's a bit of a mess today, so put on a different hat. And let's talk a little bit about this concept. So as I said, coffee connoisseur, the word connoisseur is often, I think, associated with this misapprehension of thinking people as snobs. And that's something I want to get us away from, because I think at the end of the day, that's not what we're about. No one wants to go into a cafe and be confronted by a barista who's a snob. And we've all been there. We've all gone to cafes. You may have even experienced it at Transcend, and if you have, I apologize in advance. But we've all gone to a cafe where the barista standing behind the counter has this air of superiority, and they also have this sense that I know best what you need to drink, and if you don't drink it the way I tell you to drink it, you're somehow inadequate. And you leave feeling somehow mildly violated, embarrassed, and often you go, that's it, I'm not going back there. And what I want to do today is talk about this concept and introduce this idea of connoisseurship as not so much I like or don't like, but I understand what the inherent aspects of quality are. And in this case, we're talking about coffee. One of the things that often gets sort of contrasted to coffee, and I think appropriately so, a lot of people have a hate on for the contrast and comparison of wine to coffee, and I get their frustration with it, but there's so many synergies, there's so many things that make sense. As I study, I'm studying now, I'm just on my beginning of a journey towards my diploma in WSET, which is a professional designation in wine. And so part of that process is not just learning about where wines come from and what varieties they are, what they taste like, but I have to learn about how wine's made and the agricultural aspects. And that's something that we're moving towards as a company at Transcend as well. Josh and James and I and Michael, we're all focused on this idea of how do we understand not just what makes coffee taste great in terms of what's in the cup, but all the aspects that go along with coffee. That is, where does it grow? Why does soil matter? Why does sunlight matter? Why does fertilizer matter? All these things come into our complete understanding of coffee. And that's really what I want you to participate in. I want you to become a connoisseur of coffee so that you have some fundamental understanding, background, and some tools to understand what makes up quality, so that you have an ability to assess quality. And that's important, I think, and that's really what I want you to equate the word connoisseur with, is an ability to discern quality. Not to be an expert, not to be this guy or gal that struts around and brags about how smart you are, but just to have an appreciation of what it takes to understand what makes an amazing cup of coffee. How can we give you the tools to understand and appreciate that thing that we all love to drink, and that's coffee. Hopefully you find this topic compelling. I really do hope that you find that compelling. I would love it if you have some ideas and if you have some questions about what you would love to know about coffee, that you would email those to us so that we can incorporate those questions in our upcoming videos. And yeah, apart from that, hopefully this intrigues you enough to come back and watch again, because our desire at Transcend is really just to share the journey, share the love that we have for coffee. Our passion is bottomless when it comes to our pursuit of great coffee. We all geek out about how to brew it, how to drink it. We all love the nuances that we find in coffee, and all we care about is sharing those with you so that you can join along in the journey with us. So if that's something that you want to do, then I encourage you to check back on a frequent basis, as we'll have more videos in these next coming weeks. All right, see you next time. Cheers.